Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're diving into the world of hidden treasures as we explore the top 5 most expensive and ultra-rare US Mercury dime coins. These silver dimes with this and D mint marks may look dirty or ordinary, but some of them could actually be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. So before you spend that old dime, stick around because you might just be holding a fortune in your hands. First up, coin number 1. The Mercury dime of 1925, struck without a mint mark, is one of those coins that can capture the imagination and leave collectors dreaming of untold riches. At first glance, it may look like nothing more than a dirty, worn silver piece, its once bright surface dulled by decades of handling. Yet, this is a coin that carries an aura of mystery, for within its small frame lies not just silver but also the potential to completely change a person's fortune overnight. Collectors know that a 1925 Mercury dime, especially one tied to rumors of unique silver tones, errors, or unusual traits, can be worth unimaginable sums in today's market. The Mercury dime, properly known as the Winged Liberty Head dime, was introduced in 1916 and remained in circulation until 1945. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, it was one of the most beautiful coins ever minted by the United States. Lady Liberty, crowned with wings on her cap to symbolize freedom of thought, became an icon of American artistry in coinage. On the reverse stood the fasces, a bundle of rods bound around an axe, symbolizing strength through unity, with an olive branch twined around it to represent peace. These symbols together gave the Mercury dime a timeless power, making it one of the most beloved coins in U.S. history. By 1925, America was in the midst of the Roaring Twenties, a period of prosperity, jazz, automobiles, and innovation. Yet beneath the glamour of the age, there were hardships too, as farmers and working-class citizens struggled while others thrived. The coins of that era absorbed these stories, passing from hand to hand, carrying the fingerprints of both wealth and struggle. To own a 1925 Mercury dime today is to hold a piece of that history, a tangible reminder of an age when America was both roaring forward and quietly preparing for the storms of the Great Depression. The absence of a mint mark on the 1925 dime makes it a Philadelphia issue, and while millions were produced, very few survive in pristine condition. Most were heavily circulated, and many were melted down when silver prices rose in later decades. That makes surviving examples, especially those with unusual luster, striking errors, or distinctive toning, incredibly desirable. For collectors, rarity and condition are everything. A simple scratch, a doubled image, or a dramatic die break can turn what seems like a common coin into a million-dollar treasure. The phrase, silver sticker, or unusual shine often sparks stories of coins that glimmer differently, perhaps due to chemical reactions in the metal, unusual storage conditions, or experimental minting techniques. Even the suggestion of a variation can launch a frenzy among collectors. That is why a dirty, oddly toned 1925 Mercury dime can suddenly be seen not as pocket change but as a one-of-a-kind relic, something that belongs in an auction house where bidding climbs into the millions. The very dirt that hides its shine may also be concealing its fortune. The Mercury dime's power is more than financial, it is emotional. Collectors are drawn to it not only for its potential value but for its symbolism. Liberty's winged cap embodies the freedom of the American spirit, while the fasces and olive branch remind us of the balance between strength and peace. These are timeless themes as relevant today as they were nearly a century ago. Holding this coin is like touching a philosophy, a national identity struck in silver. That spiritual weight magnifies its financial worth. Many stories of overnight fortune in numismatics involve coins just like the 1925 Mercury dime. Someone finds a forgotten coin in a dusty jar, or inherits a small collection, or stumbles across one at a yard sale. At first, they dismiss it as worthless. But then, upon closer inspection, it reveals its secrets: a missing mint mark where one should have been, a misstrike, or a dazzling silver tone unlike any other. Suddenly, that dime becomes a life-changing treasure, a doorway to wealth that few ever imagine. The 1925 Mercury dime also stands as a bridge between eras. It carried Americans through a time of optimism in the 1920s, endured the collapse of the stock market in 1929, and circulated throughout the Great Depression of the 1930s. By the time World War II began, many of these dimes were already worn thin, still faithfully serving their purpose as money. When you see one today, especially a dirty, scarred survivor, you are looking at a soldier of history, a coin that weathered nearly everything the 20th century could throw at it. This coin's immense desirability also comes from its scarcity in perfect condition. Most 1925 Mercury dimes are found in worn grades, which is why collectors go wild when an unusually well-preserved one emerges. Auctions have seen jaw-dropping prices for these rarities, with certain examples commanding figures that could easily make someone a millionaire overnight. The possibility that a coin in your change jar or tucked away in an old drawer could be one of these treasures is what fuels the excitement. The dirty condition of a 1925 Mercury dime should not fool anyone into thinking it has little value. Dirt can be cleaned, but history cannot. That grime might be covering a rare strike, an unusual finish, or simply the enduring shine of silver waiting to emerge. To a trained eye, every scratch tells a story, every blemish whispers a clue, and sometimes those clues lead straight to unimaginable fortune. In the end, the 1925 no-mint mark Mercury dime is far more than a 10-cent piece. It is an artifact, a work of art, a historical witness, and for some, a ticket to overnight wealth. Its power lies not only in its silver but in its scarcity, its beauty, and the mythology that surrounds it. For collectors, it represents the perfect blend of history and possibility, the dream of discovering that one coin that transforms everything. So, if you come across a 1925 Mercury dime, no matter how dirty, how scratched, or how ordinary it looks, do not spend it. Do not dismiss it. Hold it carefully, for you may be holding a coin that has the power to change your destiny. In the world of numismatics, fortune often hides in the most unexpected places, and the 1925 Mercury dime is living proof of that truth. The Mercury dime of 1928 with the Denver Mint mark is one of those coins that collectors whisper about, a silver piece that looks ordinary to the untrained eye yet carries with it the potential to transform a person's life overnight. To many, it may appear worn, its once bright shine muted under years of dirt and handling, but beneath that rough exterior lies a treasure waiting to be revealed. Some believe that such coins, especially when touched with unusual silver tones or marked by minting quirks, hold values that stretch far beyond imagination, pushing into millions in today's thriving collector market. The Mercury dime itself was more than just a coin. It was a symbol of American artistry and resilience. Officially named the Winged Liberty Head Dime, it was first introduced in 1916 and became one of the most admired coin designs in U.S. history. Sculpted by Adolph A. Weinman, it depicted liberty in a cap with wings, representing freedom of thought, while the reverse bore the fasces, a bundle of rods tied around an axe symbolizing unity and strength, entwined with an olive branch for peace. It was a perfect balance between power and hope, and the beauty of this design made every Mercury dime something more than money. It was a statement of national identity. The year 1928 was an interesting one in American history. The Roaring Twenties were still alive with their jazz music, automobiles, and booming economy, but the shadows of coming hardship lurked just around the corner. People carried these Mercury dimes in their pockets while celebrating prosperity, not realizing that within a year the stock market crash would turn lives upside down. That gives the 1928 Denver dime a certain aura. It is not only a coin, but also a silent witness to a fleeting moment of joy before the storm. Denver's mint mark, a small d on the reverse of the coin, adds to its intrigue. Coins minted in Denver during this period were struck in smaller numbers compared to those from Philadelphia. Fewer in circulation means fewer survivors today, which is why collectors chase them so passionately. The 1928 D Mercury dime is already scarce in high grades, but when one appears in unusual condition, be it a double strike, a deep silver tone, or an uncirculated luster, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Stories abound of collectors uncovering forgotten rolls of such coins, only to discover that what seemed like pocket change was in fact a fortune. The silver sticker description attached to coins like this often reflects the unusual glow or patina they carry after decades of exposure. Dirt, oxidation, and even the environments where coins were stored can leave behind unique characteristics, and in numismatics, uniqueness drives value. A dull or dirty coin may, in reality, be concealing a silver beauty underneath, and for some collectors, the dirtier the coin, the more authentic and intriguing it becomes. That's why even a coin in rough condition can spark bidding wars and fetch life-changing sums. It's easy to underestimate a mercury dime, given its size and face value. Yet, this tiny coin has changed fortunes for countless collectors. Imagine inheriting a box of old coins, sorting through them without much care, and suddenly spotting that 1928 Denver mark. What once bought a loaf of bread could now buy an entire estate. This is not fantasy. It is the reality of rare coins and the unpredictability of their worth in the modern market. The beauty of the mercury dime goes beyond its silver content. It's in the details of Liberty's face, the grace of the wings on her cap, and the strength shown in the fasces and olive branch. Collectors fall in love with the artistry before they even consider its rarity. And when rarity combines with beauty, value explodes. The 1928 mercury dime exemplifies this combination, making it a dream piece in any collection. Consider too the historical journey of such a coin. From minting in Denver to circulation in the bustling economy of the late 1920s, it likely passed through countless hands. It may have been carried by a factory worker, spent in a jazz club, saved by a child, or stashed away during the Great Depression. Each scratch, each worn edge, carries a story of survival. That lived history adds layers of value, emotional as well as financial. The coin's rarity is also tied to the survival rate of silver coins in general. Many were melted down when silver prices rose in later decades, while others were simply worn out in circulation. This makes each surviving 1928 mercury dime more precious, especially in any condition that hints at originality. For collectors, authenticity and survival are priceless, and these are qualities that push coins into million-dollar territory. The dirt covering such a coin should never be seen as a flaw. Instead, it's a protective cloak, hiding what lies beneath. Collectors often say that a coin in dirty, untouched condition is far more appealing than one that has been cleaned or polished. Because originality means honesty, it tells the story of the coin without alteration. A dirty 1928 mercury dime could very well be the most honest and valuable coin in existence, just waiting for the right eye to recognize its worth. Fortunes in numismatics are made not by chance, but by awareness. Those who know the power of the mercury dime, especially rare dates like the 1928, understand that even the smallest discovery can be monumental. A dime once thought to be common can suddenly become a life-altering treasure. That is the magic of coin collecting, and the reason this coin holds such allure. So, if you ever find yourself holding a 1928 mercury dime, no matter how dirty or worn, do not dismiss it. That coin might be more than silver. It could be the key to unimaginable wealth. It could be your doorway to becoming a millionaire overnight. History, beauty, rarity, and mystery are all bound together in its small frame, making it one of the most extraordinary coins the United States has ever produced. Next up, the mercury dime of 1944 with the S mint mark is more than just a small silver coin. It is a symbol of American resilience, artistry, and hidden value. At first glance, it may appear to be just another well-worn dime, especially when found in dirty condition with a faint shine of silver peeking through years of circulation. But this coin carries with it a story that can change fortunes overnight, because within its design and history lies the potential to be one of the most valuable treasures in the world of numismatics. Collectors have always chased after mercury dimes, but the 1944 S stands out because it represents not only the final years of this legendary series but also the spirit of a nation at war. The mercury dime, officially known as the Winged Liberty Head Dime, was introduced in 1916 and continued until 1945. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, the coin features Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. Over the years, this design came to be mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, and that is how the coin earned its popular nickname. By the time the 1944 S dime was minted, America was deep in World War II, and every piece of silver mattered. The San Francisco Mint struck millions of dimes that year, but not every coin has survived in pristine condition, and not every coin carries the rare qualities that make collectors lose sleep. The presence of the S Mint mark, found just to the right of the in1 on the reverse, immediately gives the coin a special identity. Coins from San Francisco often have smaller mintages compared to Philadelphia, making them more desirable. But beyond the mint mark, collectors search for unusual strikes, errors, and those rare surviving specimens that remain in high-grade condition. A coin may appear dirty or dull, but beneath that surface lies pure silver, a shine that can be restored to reveal the brilliance of its history. That hidden silver glow is why some call it a treasure under dust. When we talk about unimaginable value, we are not just referring to silver content. Yes, the coin itself is made of 90% silver, giving it intrinsic worth. But the true power lies in rarity, collector demand, and the mystique attached to the Mercury dime. There are stories of 1944's dimes being sold for staggering prices at auction, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, and certain error varieties or high-grade examples reaching into territory that feels more like fantasy than reality. Imagine holding a coin that looks ordinary, only to discover it has the potential to bring a life-changing sum. That is the dream of every coin hunter. The condition of the coin plays a massive role. A dirty, circulated 1944's dime may seem unimpressive, but collectors value originality, authenticity, and even the story that a coin carries in its wear. On the other hand, a clean, uncirculated specimen with sharp detail can command a price beyond what most people expect from such a small piece of silver. This duality, ordinary on one hand, extraordinary on the other, is what gives the Mercury dime its magical reputation. A fortune can literally be hiding in someone's pocket change, passed down in an old jar of coins, or discovered in the dusty corners of an attic. The silver sticker or glow some collectors talk about is not literal but symbolic. It represents the aura these coins carry in the coin world. The 1944's Mercury dime does not just reflect light. It reflects history, artistry, and opportunity. Every collector knows that this dime can transform from a 10-cent piece to a treasure worth thousands or even millions depending on its uniqueness. And it is this possibility that keeps people searching, hoping, and dreaming. The history of Mercury dimes also enhances their value. They were born in an age of artistic coin design, with Weinman also responsible for the iconic Walking Liberty half-dollar. The Mercury dime's delicate features, balanced proportions, and timeless symbolism made it one of America's most beloved coins. Ending in 1945, the series was replaced by the Roosevelt dime, which makes the 1944's one of the last runs before the curtain closed on an era. That alone makes it significant in the timeline of U.S. coinage. Collectors often say that every Mercury dime tells a story, but the 1944's tells a story of transition. It is a wartime coin, struck when resources were precious and morale was high. It circulated through the hands of soldiers' families, factory workers, and everyday Americans who used it without knowing that decades later, it would become an object of desire. Today, its dirty surfaces and worn edges whisper secrets of the past while promising riches to those who recognize its value. The myth of becoming a billionaire overnight with one of these coins may sound exaggerated, but it comes from a very real truth. Coins like the Mercury dime can drastically change someone's fortune. Rare varieties, errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or misprints, can turn a small coin into a millionaire's treasure. Some collectors will pay unimaginable sums for the perfect piece because it is not just money, it is history preserved in metal. So if you ever stumble upon a 1944's Mercury dime, don't dismiss it. Don't spend it for a coffee or let it slip away in a pile of change. It could be the key to a future you never imagined. Its silver content alone holds value, but its rarity, its story, and its place in history hold power far beyond money. This coin is more than currency, it is a ticket to opportunity, a bridge between past and future, and a silent promise that fortune favors those who recognize hidden treasures. The 1944's Mercury dime is proof that small things can carry immense power. It reminds us that history does not just live in books or museums, It lives in our pockets, our drawers, and sometimes in coins we overlook. And one day, if you are lucky enough to find this coin in your hands, you might just discover that this humble piece of silver has the power to change your destiny forever.